Hello, hello. Welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. My name is Jen. We do tarot over here. This is going to be the weekly check-in for all signs for January 12th to the 18th. All of the January check-ins are posted on the channel as well, if you want to go ahead and check those out. And I also do have one-on-ones. If that's something that you're interested in, I do them over Zoom. You can send me an email that is in the description box below, and we can go ahead and make that happen. All of the readings are time-stamped, so I do a universal message as soon as I'm done talking, and then in the signs we go ahead and we see how that universal message applies to you and your sign. I don't know if I said all of the signs are timestamped, so you can just jump right ahead and meet me at your sign. I feel like there was something else I had to say. I do this all the time. I have to write notes. Otherwise, it just, as soon as the camera goes on, I'm like, okay, my mind goes blank. But yeah, I think that's it. So, not much to say. Monthlies are up. One-on-ones are available. And I hope everybody's having a good start to the week. I don't know why I'm so like space cadet today, but I am. I promise I won't be that way when I do your readings. But that being said, let's get started. I'll meet you at your sign. Just joking. Universal message. Let's go ahead and make that happen. All right. Let's see. What is the message for the collective this week, please? Thank you. The Magician and the Lord in the shadow here. So, masculine energy for sure. This idea of driving forward, moving forward, taking charge. I love that. 9 of Cups. And moving from a good space as well. Like being motivated by and driven by what you want, what fulfills you, which is really lovely. And doing what you need to do, right? Taking the necessary steps, which is so nice to see. It feels like all of the signs in general are really trying to make the most of 2026. I think 2025 did tear a lot of the signs down in a lot of ways, but it feels like 2026 is the year where we're really building ourselves back up just collectively and doing that from a different standpoint. So seeing these cards is actually really lovely and really encouraging for everybody that is putting that work. Okay, we'll see how this relates to your sign in your weekly reading. And now I will see you at your sign. Aries, hello. Let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's see what we can see. Ooh, look at you popping out. Double Magician. Wow, I love that for you. And King of Wands here showing up, just flying out of there. I love this for you. It feels like you're making some really positive changes here and just being very top of mind. So the Lord, that's the Emperor here in the shadow for the universal message. So it feels like this is a very good week for you, a good week to make change, a good week to step into perhaps taking on new things that you've been kind of delaying, right? But yeah, that's awesome. Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers here for you, Aries. Okay. 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 That's too many. Thank you. Wow, the cards are just flying out today. I wonder if that's going to be for all the signs, but for you specifically, just boom, 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 boom. I love it. Let's take a look in the shadow here. So yeah, it definitely feels like you're trying to complete a goal here and really working hard to make that happen, which is lovely. At least I'm seeing that in your shadow here. Coming into your clarifier, so we have the Page of Swords, Page of Cups, King of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, Devil in reverse, Chariot in reverse, and Temperance here. I'm wondering if you're trying to be more in the present moment, which is interesting because the Magician is showing up, and typically when the Magician shows up, we're trying to make things happen, trying to do things, right? I feel like the Magician in your case is you trying to make sure that you stay in the moment and not let yourself get carried out of your intention and get carried away from the goals that you have in place or the tasks that you want to complete in this week. And just being very deliberate about where you're putting your energy, how you're spending your time, and being very thoughtful about not getting caught up in things that don't benefit you, in things that aren't your tasks to complete, and not letting a task or a goal, say, like you're not getting diverted and you're not letting yourself get carried away is what I'm saying here. With Temperance at the very end, right, of the Devil in reverse, the Chariot in reverse, and then we have Temperance right side up. It just feels like you're very, like you're getting picky in a good way about where you're spending your time and your energy here and what you're giving it to. And that's just fantastic. Yeah, and just with here, it feels like you're getting ready to do some work internally, right? And so perhaps what we're doing this week, Aries, is we're getting to a point where we're kind of slowing down with, or trying to slow down with how we're expending our energy and what we're tending to outside of ourselves, so that we can start focusing inward and doing some certain things for us, right? Some growth, personal development for you. But very interesting display of the Magician here, because you are changing. You're trying to manifest something for yourself. It's just you're trying to manifest yourself being in the moment and not letting things get you, like, carry you away. You're trying not to get distracted here. And King of Swords showing up, and then that Six of Cups in the shadow there. Yeah, so again, this idea of being deliberate, being intentional, right, with these two kings showing up. And again, just this idea of masculine energy, so wanting to take charge, and take charge, stand in your own corner, and make sure that you're prioritizing your self and internal self, which is lovely. Aries, a Magician again. Wow. Goosebumps. Totally. Aries, what a strong week, impactful week. It feels like whatever you're doing here this week, you have the ability to lay the groundwork for how your year is going to go, right? Doing this work now, setting these limits, right? Energetically feels very impactful for you. Amazing. I'm in awe. Aries, that's what I have for you this week, okay? Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time. You take care. Leo, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for the week of January 12th. Thank you. All right, Five of Pentacles here and Emperor. So we have double Emperor. And again, masculine energy. And perhaps... Okay. Interesting. Just peeking in that shadow here, the masculine energy is showing up for sure. Okay. There's something that I'm seeing in terms of how you're taking control or what you're in control of or what you're trying to control, Leo, that we need to put to rest. There's something that you're taking on that we should be ending that cycle. Okay. That Five of Pentacles definitely speaks on that. Perhaps it's heavy. It's you need to lighten your load is what I'm seeing here, right? We're doing the thing, but we're not really thriving at doing the thing. Let's get some clarifiers. I love this. Just the cards flying out here. It's so great. Like so deliberate. I love it. All right, just taking a look at your clarifier shadow here. Yeah. So it feels like you need to, and with High Priestess showing up in your shadow here, Queen of Pentacles, like all of this energy. It feels like you need to let go of something so that you can be open to something else, another way to go. Okay? And it feels like that way is the way that you want to go. And with whatever is kind of happening, it feels more like a distraction. Okay? Hermit, Nine of Cups, Hanged Man, Knight of Wands, Three of Swords, Queen of Swords, Eight of Swords. So lots of sword energy here. In your clarifiers. Yeah, it feels like you've done a little bit of reflection here. And I'm wondering if there was something that originally felt good, Leo, that you were doing, and now it's just become a burden. And you're starting to realize that. And starting to feel trapped by it or limited in some way. And there's a general understanding of that. So I feel like this week you feel that limitation. You feel almost like the walls closing in on you a little bit, or at least that the awareness of that is coming into play this week for you. And so with this Five of Pentacles, it definitely feels like we're on a hamster wheel a little bit. Or like, the bad guys are chasing us and they're getting closer and closer and closer. That kind of vibe here. But it's like you can't outrun this. You can't outpace this. And it feels like you do know that with the High Priestess coming in here. It feels like we need to manufacture an ending. And so for you with the Magician and the Emperor here, or at least double Emperor, I should say, we need to take control. We need to take charge and put something to bed that, if you sit with yourself, Leo, I think you will understand what that thing is, because it's not fulfilling you in the way that it used to, or in the way at least that you thought it would, right? And perhaps part of that ending is uncomfy because it ostracizes you a little bit. It kind of puts you on your own. And so perhaps we were trying to avoid that in some way. But I think the longer that you sit with this, or the longer that you try to outrun whatever this is, or delay that ending, it just, you keep feeling more and more confined. And ultimately, you know, right? With that High Priestess, you know. Final thoughts here, Page of Wands. Yeah, Hermit energy showing up, right? So Hermit twice. Sit with yourself. This is your journey. Sit with yourself. Do your own reflection, right? We can have people that we look to, people that we confide in, people that we ask questions of, seek guidance from. But ultimately, this is your path, and you know where you want to be, and you know what needs to go. And maybe just pull that thread a little bit. Page of Wands coming up. Yeah, take control. Take back that control, right? Let's figure out a new way forward. Okay, Leo, that's what I see for you. Some beautiful energy here for you as we head into this week. You're looking great and in control and aware, and it's all awesome. Words are hard today. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time, Leo. You take care. Sagittarius, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for the week of January 12th. Too many? Nope, not too many. All right. Steady progression here is what I'm seeing right off the hop, especially with that Chariot coming through. You're working. You're being deliberate. You're being intentional, right? Closing out loops, setting things down that no longer serve you, or were never yours to carry, right? This idea that we're laying down we're no longer giving energy and time and effort to things that no longer serve us. Okay? You're being intentional about that, freeing up your energy to move a little bit more and be more in the present moment, right? And with that Chariot showing up, you are taking that charge, and it feels like you're doing it from a good place, Sagittarius, from a place of looking within yourself and truly asking, does this serve me? Does this not? So you're on the right track. And all of the fire signs now have shown me just this masculine energy, right? This idea of taking control and essentially controlling their own narrative, which is really quite lovely to see. Yeah, and just moving from a sound and stable place. Look at you coming out right out of the gate here. Let's get some more clarifiers, please. Okay. And the cards, too, have just been so, like, deliberate. I want to come out. I want to come out. I want to come out. It's so great. Okay. So with that death energy and a lot of major arcana coming through, so this could be a very impactful week for you, Sagittarius, but with that death card coming through, yeah, it's like we want to change. We want to lighten our load a little bit. We want to enjoy our life and enjoy the present moment a little bit more perhaps than we have been, Sagittarius. And so you're doing the work necessary in order to clear up the muck and enjoy where you are. right? Or at least enjoy the process a little bit more than you have been. Coming into your clarifiers here, we have you, Temperance, the Star, Judgment, Three of Swords, King of Wands, Two of Swords, and the Empress here. So there could, for some of you, just because I'm seeing it at the heart of your reading here, it could be that this 10 of Wands is related to some sort of past pain or trauma, and we're trying very hard to work through this, right? It could be shame, guilt, like I said, trauma, pain. Okay, take it as it resonates or however it pops up for you, Sagittarius. But that feels like the crux of what we're trying to let go of and say this no longer impacts my present, my day to day. So that's really lovely to see. Yeah, and again, this idea we're carrying forward of being intentional, right? Being deliberate. We have a clear idea of the goal behind this movement, this process. And even if at some points we might hesitate or feel stuck or even unsure, unsteady, you're combating that very nicely with some feminine energy here, a softer touch for yourself. And really giving space and patience to yourself to maneuver this process, right? So with this Magician showing up here, yes, being intentional, being deliberate, taking charge, but from a sound place and not being so over the top or so intent on there's no by any means necessary here. It's kind of like, again, this idea of we want to be in the present moment, but if things get a little too rough or a little too hairy, you're okay to kind of stop where you are, assess the situation, assess how you're feeling, and take a beat if you need to, and then move on when you're ready. So really lovely energy here, and it does feel like that is changing you in some pivotal way here, which is really quite lovely. 8 of Cups, yes, and the Knight of Cups here. So again, right, this idea with that cup energy, we're walking away from something, we're putting things down that are no longer fitting in our backpack. We no longer have to carry this with us on our journey. We can acknowledge that it was something and put it behind us and move on, right? We're freeing up our energy a little bit more, right? And doing it from a place of foundational self-reflection. And that's really beautiful. Sagittarius, love this for you. Amazing, amazing energy. And just as the cards were coming out very deliberately, it feels like you are being very deliberate this week. And that's a beautiful energy to see. Keep it going. I love it. Sagittarius, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. You take care. Capricorn, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see. Oop. Okay. All right. Sorry, I just realized that it still said Capricorn, or Sagittarius, so I wanted to change that so that we're very clear about this being your time. So we do have that Tower coming through and King of Wands in the shadow here. So that tower that was peeking through last week has come into your week this week. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I vaguely remember that you knew that this was coming. We could sense this coming, Capricorn. King of Wands, again, masculine energy. So the fire signs all showed me very masculine energy here. You're also presenting this to me, and it feels like if you didn't know last week, I find you did know that this tower was kind of coming for you. This disruption, this tension was on its way towards you here. All right, let's get some clarifiers for Capricorn, please. All right, not surprising so far. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. This is really quite lovely. Really quite lovely. I'm just taking a peek in the shadow here. There's something very positive about where you're headed and your momentum forward. And anything that has been scary or you've been fearful of or hesitant of, it feels like you're coming to a place where you're acknowledging that and continuing on. Like you're not letting that stop you in any way, Capricorn, and that feels really lovely. Heading into your clarifiers here, we have that 8 of Cups, the 4 of Wands in reverse, Judgment, the Tower, 6 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. If there was ever any doubt that this Tower wasn't coming through, we have made sure, Tarot has made sure, Spirit has made sure that we know that this Tower is coming through. Okay. And it's like a glow up after this, Capricorn. It's almost like this tower, some part of your foundation or your structure needed to change in order to be the catalyst to move you forward in a way that for some of you, I feel you knew all along. There was just a struggle in how to have it take shape. And I'm wondering if with the amount of masculine take charge, take control energy that we have here, Capricorn, with this tower, I'm wondering if you didn't manufacture this tower into being, either you in your present state or your higher vibrational energy, in order to bring about this change and transformation for yourself, right? I wouldn't put it past you. But really here, you're showing up winning and really in a place of comfort and success, enjoyment. Because whatever this tower has turned, or maybe your foundation turned before the Tower happened. However it presented for you, Capricorn, you're better off without whatever this was. And it does feel like something, you had to lose that in order to pick up what was truly meant for you, right? And it could be, I'm wondering if it's like a pillar of your belief, like your belief system here. A perspective of value, right? Yeah. Four of Pentacles and Seven of Swords. So Four of Pentacles, you've outgrown what has come before you, right? You're no longer the same Capricorn that was at the end of 2025, right? You're moving on and beyond, right? Which is really lovely to see. Seven of Swords, Strength, Queen of Cups in the shadow, Queen of Pentacles, Death. Yeah, you're facing whatever this is head on and giving no room for anything else to stop you, right? You're being very intentional, very deliberate. And again, I feel that you made this Tower moment happen so that you could release what was holding you back and just catapult yourself into how you have been wanting to feel for some time. I love this. What a great week. What a great week. You're showing up lovely. This is fantastic. And you're standing in your own truth, right? And I think there's really something to be said for that, because whatever happened before this, there was some aspect of that you knew that wasn't for you, right? And so you made this happen. I love it. I love it. You're giving me goosebumps, Capricorn. Beautiful week for you. That's what I have. I hope this helps you give clarity to your week, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Taurus, hello. How are you doing? Let's go ahead and see what we can see for the week of January 12th. Interesting. Okay. Oh, these go over here. Sometimes I swear it's like it's my first day doing these. So we have the Two of Cups and the Two of Swords. Star, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, and the World. Lots going on in your shadow. Look at that. Two of Swords, the Star, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, and the World. And that Seven of Wands all the way at the back there. I'm wondering if you're hesitant to putting an end to something and closing, like really putting an end to something, right? Some major goal, dream, hope, desire. You're on the fence about it. As it relates to maybe a core relationship here. It feels like you're delaying the inevitable in some aspect, Taurus, okay? Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers. Look at that. Interesting. I feel like you guys are going to be seeing the angel number 222 this week. If that pops up for you, let me know. Show me Taurus, please. Thank you. Huh. Yeah, definitely a relationship. Wow. So I'm seeing a lot of hesitancy, right? Which is why it makes sense all these twos are coming up. But if we just take a quick look in your shadow here, right? We've got that Two of Cups, we've got the Six of Wands, the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Wands. Lots of passion here, right? Lots of passion. Yeah. Eight of Cups, Five of Swords, Ace of Swords, Eight of Wands, Ace of Cups, Five of Pentacles here. There's like a push-pull that's happening. You're tired. You want to walk away. We're giving it one more go. We want to walk away. We're sticking around and fighting. Like it's very kind of up and down in the shadow here. With that Lovers coming up in the reverse, definitely speaking on some sort of relationship here, right? And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but soul bond in some type of way, right? Family member, friend, some karmic tie between the two of you in one aspect or another already. Coming into your clarifiers here, you are showing up in that Six of Pentacles. We also have the Queen of Pentacles, the Tower, the Emperor now showing up twice. Three of Pentacles, King of Wands, and the Lovers in reverse. So it feels like you've stopped interacting in a way that you would do prior to this week or prior to whenever you made that change. You're showing up differently. And of course, you're showing up differently because you've made that switch for yourself, or you've made that switch for something that's very important to you, that change, right, in your priorities. And that has disrupted something in this dynamic. That what I'm seeing is that the other person is not taking kindly to your change in priority. Okay. And so some Tower moment is happening here. And I think, Taurus, we spoke on that Tower a little bit last week. But this week it's here. And again, with this masculine energy that we have showing up, you're taking charge, taking control. And you're either navigating a new setting for yourself, school, job, career, hobby, something. Or because there was a change in your priorities, this Tower moment happened, right? Some sort of disruption or conflict or tension happened. And now, even if your landscape hasn't changed, how you approach your landscape has changed. How you approach this setting has changed in a way that has disrupted this soul bond relationship, or has revealed to you the ways in which this soul bond relationship is no longer suiting you in one aspect or another. I'm not saying that you're ending this relationship, although some of you might. I'm saying there's certain aspects here that we have realized no longer suit. Okay? And with that universal message tying that in, this Magician energy and the Lord energy, right? That Emperor showing up twice speaks to that masculinity, speaks to that take charge, right? Speaks to you changing some aspect of your life in a way that ended up being profound or monumental, even if you didn't really see that on the outset. Okay? And it's uncovered some faults, I'll say, within that lover's relationship here. And I think that has you questioning the value of the relationship or the relationship itself in general. How are these like this? Okay. So we have the Four of Swords and the Star along with that Page of Wands. So yeah, again, with that Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Swords, this idea of contemplating an ending, right? Is it time for this? Especially with that Wheel of Fortune showing up. Standing in your truth. Doing what you need to do for you. Being present in navigating your energy in a way that benefits you. Four of Swords, the Star. Are we moving forward? Are we moving at all? You're thinking on it, is what I'm seeing. You're thinking on it here. You're trying to figure it out. Taurus. You're figuring it out. Not an easy week, but you're staying true to yourself. And at the end of the day, that's all we can do, right? That's what I have for you this week. Stand in your truth, my friend. Stand in your truth. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Virgo, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for the week of January 12th. Six of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles in the shadow here. Wow. It feels like in some way you're finding your way back to yourself. And maybe leaning more into what you need, what you want, how you want to move forward, right? There's some aspect of something that's changing as well. Like some core part of you is, it feels like we're navigating that change, Virgo. Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers. Yes. Love this. Thank you. Yes. So just very quickly, right, we had that Empress here and now she's popped out into the clarifiers. which I love. All right. This is beautiful. Hopping into your shadow here. Okay. I'm wondering if for some of you, your intuition took a... I'm wondering if for some of you, your intuition, you started doubting it at one point or another, and we're trying to find our way back to trusting ourselves, at least in this setting, if not overall. And that's what we're working our way back to here. Coming into your clarifiers, I have the Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Swords in reverse, Seven of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, the Chariot, Empress, and Temperance here. So something has shifted with that Wheel of Fortune popping out, right? Could be a timeline shift, okay? If you believe in that. If not, it could be something has shifted here and the universe or spirit has opened up a pathway for you to release some sort of pain, negativity, trauma. Either way, whatever it is, that Three of Swords vibe that has been holding you back, right? With that Seven of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles here, the release is there. I feel what this is speaking on is how you plan to maneuver through this, right? So this idea of navigating away from something, through something, and you're trying to figure out this week, Virgo, the best possible way to do that for yourself, right? Navigating who you are away from this hurt, right? And if that intuition plays a component here, really trying hard to focus and listen to your truth and moving in a way back to trusting yourself and finding that balance in yourself, in your life, right? With the Magician and the Lord being, or the Emperor being, that universal message, yes, that masculine energy, that take charge, right? But it feels like that Magician is kind of he's being a little bit more, you're being a little bit more deliberate with what you're manifesting here, and perhaps a little bit more, what's the word? Mindful of the change you're trying to make happen, of what you're trying to make happen, right? So the desire is, to manifest something into being here, and you're trying to figure that out, how to best do that, right? And really giving it your all. Yeah. That's very lovely, Virgo. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. The Moon. Yeah. Trying to navigate your way, right? Trying to maneuver out of this, whatever this Three of Swords hold was, we're trying to figure out how to let it go. And you're trying to do that in the best way possible for you, right? And, you know, if there's others tied up in here as well, obviously you're thinking of them too. And you're trying to find the good in how you were pained by this situation, and find the ultimate benefit of how you can go about releasing this and moving forward. Right. So being very intentional here. So with just really taking your time to make sure you're doing it the right way for you, Virgo, which is commendable. Truly. You're looking at it all, right? Just make sure that you're looking at it all and not getting caught up back with that Three of Swords energy, that pain of what you're actually trying to release, right? The reason I say that is that Four of Pentacles is obviously there. So this idea of we can move on. We don't have to hold this, right? You wanted to let that go. The universe has opened up a pathway for that energy to be released, for that trauma, that pain, whatever that Three of Swords is, to be released. Let's capitalize on that and move forward with intention, right? And make the most of this Magician energy. That's what I have for you, Virgo. Beautiful. You're doing it feels like a very difficult task here for you, but the benefits of that are, great for you. And I think you see that. And it's, again, this idea of we just need to figure out the best way forward. So take your time, do your thing, do what you got to do here, but, make that happen for yourself, because you want it for yourself, right? Virgo, that's what I have for you. What a beautiful week ahead. I wish you all the best today and always, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Libra, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for the week of January 12th. Too many. Thank you. All right, so the Three of Pentacles just popped right out there, and then we have the Chariot in the shadow here. Okay, so what I'm seeing here in your shadow before we go ahead into your clarifiers is that there's a little bit of hesitation of closing something out here, or putting something to an end, leaving behind something that no longer serves you, and it feels like you know that. You're just holding on to it maybe a little longer than you should. And Libra, I think you're aware of this, okay? Because you're very much showing up immediately after that hesitation as kind of saying, I'm open to moving on. It's just XYZ, right? And then we do have that Wheel of Fortune coming through and trying to continue your forward momentum that you have, okay? So perhaps that kind of, I know, but I'm hesitant energy is starting to come through, or starting to become more prominent, because we have this Three of Pentacles showing up here, and you're trying hard rather in a new setting, right? Or trying to look at your current setting in a different way. And I'm wondering if for some of you Libras, that it would be that you're allowing somebody else into your current setting. Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers. Emperor in reverse. Interesting. Yeah, there's that fear. All right, so we've got 8 cards. And we'll just roll with it. Just heading into your shadow quickly. There you are. So a little bit of the same thing showing up in this shadow, but just a different kind of representation here. But very much affirming that, this idea of we are wanting to protect what we have, not wanting to give an inch. So there's a little bit of reluctancy to move away from something. But again, I'm just getting this idea that we understand that it's the right thing to do for us. Okay, Libra, heading into your clarifiers here, we have that 8 of Pentacles, the Hierophant energy, Emperor in reverse, the Moon, Ace of Cups, 9 of Swords, 4 of Wands in the reverse, and then that 10 of Pentacles. So if we look kind of broadly here, we go from the 8 to the 9 to the 10. It just feels like things are derailing a little bit with regard to that fear. And I'm wondering if this is not a perceived, like fear is coloring something. Fear is coloring this Ace of Cups here. And it feels like it appears to be tainting this for you a little bit. But aces are neither good nor bad. It's our interpretation of them. And it feels like you have a bad interpretation of this. But it feels like it's coming from a place of fear or insecurity or doubt or not really having an understanding. And that is kind of taking over here. Okay, but again, like I said, broadly, we go from the 8 to the 9 to the 10. And it feels like this relates to something about being diligent or being structured, right? Perhaps it could even mean like we're starting new or looking at our current setting in a new way and being a little bit more rigid or disciplined in our approach. And we don't like that. It doesn't feel good that we're holding ourselves or restricting ourselves to these certain guidelines that we've put in place, like New Year's resolutions or certain goals, priorities, things of that nature. And it could even be that that moon is showing up and it's kind of saying, oh, is this going to be like this forever? Like, I hate this. Can we just be done and move on? Like, can I just get to the end here? Can I just get to my goal without having to like suffer through this? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here for you this week. But with the Magician and the Lord here, or the Emperor showing up, and then of course that Emperor in reverse, you're making things happen, and as well with that Chariot energy, right? So even if there is a resistance to this, right? Which could be that we don't want to let this go, or that we just don't like being so rigid with ourselves, so disciplined in what we're doing. You're moving for a purpose, especially with that Magician energy. You're making it happen, even if it is a little bit uncomfortable here, because you understand you made a promise to yourself, and you're gonna try to follow through on that promise that you made, right? So setting some new intention and actually putting in the work to manifest that into being for yourself. Okay, Libra? It's funny. It's like I see this and it's kind of like you're setting your alarm at like 5:30 to wake up super early and have this amazing routine for yourself. And then when 5:30 comes, you're like, oh my God, I hate this. Like, why do I have to keep doing this? And just kind of like dragging your feet through the day, you know? That's the kind of vibe that I see here. The Lover's coming through with that 9 of Pentacles and Ace of Swords. Yeah, you're doing this for a reason. You're being super diligent here. Perhaps this does relate, this setting that you're showing me, to a specific love bond connection here. Soul bond connection, or that could be the goal, right? Putting yourself out there, taking that step to go out on dates. And it's a little bit annoying, but it's kind of like we're focused, right? We're determined, we're ready, we're open. And we see the possibility of what can be, and it's really quite fulfilling to us. Okay, Libra, that's what I have for you. You're doing the thing, even if it's a little bit painful in some ways. Okay, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you today and always, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Aquarius, hello. Let's get right to it and see what we can see. That was quick. For the week of January 12th here, we've got that 2 of Swords popping right out, and that 10 of Swords in the shadow. Okay. So yeah, definitely putting something to an end here. It feels like it's a rough finish. Perhaps not as clean as you would like. But definitely coming to an end for sure, because the ends justify the means. So even if it's not as neat and tidy as you would like, Aquarius, you're putting it to bed, or at least the intention is to do that, because we're thinking long term, right? And you're being very diligent about it, right? And so it feels like that ending and that Fool energy, right? This desire to, powered by the Magician as well, right? Being deliberate in moving on, like a smart fool, if you will, is queuing up the universe, or signaling to the universe that I'm really done with this. And so the universe is saying, okay, we're here to make that happen for you, right? Because you're putting in that work, and you're doing your ends justify the means kind of idea. Interesting. Let's go ahead and see. Okay. Okay. Just flying right off there. All right. Okay. Just taking a look in this shadow before we head into the clarifiers. Yeah, there's that Fool again. Being very clear about moving forward. So into your clarifiers for that 2 of Swords, we have the 10 of Pentacles, Temperance, Page of Wands, High Priestess, 7 of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, 10 of Wands. It's a rough end. Like, you might call it sloppy, but it's still an ending. You're still releasing it, right? And that's important. You're getting the job done, even if it's not up to your standard, Aquarius, okay? And there's this idea of, we want to be open to what happens beyond this finish, right? We want that Fool energy. We're thinking long term, and so we're clearing up our energy this week to facilitate that and make that happen, right? Again, keeping in mind that you're queuing up the universe to take this away from you. And so that's what I see you kind of working towards. The 2 of Swords, I'm not sure if I spoke on that yet. there is some hesitation here, but the only hesitation that I really feel is in terms of how you're going to execute this ending. And perhaps kind of guarding yourself from it being a little bit messy. And you not really liking that part of how this is coming to a close, right? With the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles here, that tells its own story of you're thinking, how do we move on? How do we move forward from here, right? You're doing that work and listening to yourself. And it feels like, Aquarius, this week, you're, first of all, manifesting that ending. And then trying to see what life looks like beyond that ending. So not so much movement happening here as we are bringing a cycle to a close, and in a pretty substantial way here, as we're seeing that 10 in 3 different suits. So across 3 different energies here, right? So quite important work that you're doing this week. And of course, you're listening to yourself, right? Which is the most important thing. You're figuring it out. That was too many. Final thoughts here for Aquarius. Thank you. 2 of Wands and the 4 of Swords in the shadow. So yes, this idea of there's not much movement this week because we're trying to figure out where we should direct that movement, right? 2 of Wands showing up here, this idea of making that choice. And it does feel deliberate, right? Like I said, that Fool showing up, it feels intentional. You're being smart. You're being strategic. You're thinking not of right now, but you're thinking of 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What legacy are you leaving behind? So these are big cycles, or a big cycle that is coming to a close for you, Aquarius, okay? And you're being very intentional about it, which is great. Yeah, so that Magician and that Emperor energy here is that universal message. You're taking charge. You're manifesting an ending, which might not be as neat and tidy as you would like, but it's an ending nevertheless, which is allowing you that opportunity to figure out how you plan on moving forward for the next 5, 10, however many years, okay? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Aquarius, I love this for you. You're shining. It's awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you. We'll see you next time. You take care. Gemini, hello. I hope you're doing well. Let's get right into it and see what we can see for the week of January 12th. Too many. Thank you. Nope, still too many. 4 of Wands and the 2 of Cups here. So foundations, right? Just looking in your shadow here with that 2 of Cups, strength, 2 of Swords, 10 of Swords, King of Cups. Perhaps some of you are putting an end to a relationship this week, right? Be it business, friendship, romantic, whatever it is, perhaps, or considering putting an end to a relationship this week because it no longer serves you and you're trying to do the best thing for yourself by bringing that to an end, right? Or ending some sort of aspect of that relationship, okay? 4 of Wands here for sure. We're talking about fundamentals. We're talking about structure. We're talking about how the pillars of your life, your core values, your core beliefs, what you believe in, and how you maneuver, right, in this lifetime here. Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers for Gemini. So just looking in your shadow here, it could be that you're considering ending this relationship because you don't see it having the potential that you once thought it did. And you're ready to prioritize your personal success. Sorry, just a little bit lingering still of the congestion, so I didn't want to do that on camera. But yes, it feels like we're open to something else or the possibility of something else because this didn't pan out in the way that we thought it would. Okay, coming into the clarifiers here, we have the Page of Swords, the Fool, Knight of Pentacles, Six of Cups, Five of Wands, 10 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords here. So again, with this Fool here, we are trying to let go of something. It feels like you're trying to be in the moment, trying to live in the now as you make that decision, right? And trying to stay heart focused on giving yourself what you need, even if that's adhering to some boundaries with people and upholding them in a way that perhaps you didn't before. And while you're upholding those boundaries, it feels like you're realizing that something wasn't working within one of those dynamics here. And in fact, it could be Gemini that somebody had some ulterior motives here, and you're realizing that. So with this Magician and the Emperor showing up as that universal message, it feels like you're very much taking control of limits, boundaries, asserting your boundaries with the people around you, even when it's difficult to do so, which is like commendable, truly. And it feels like you've realized that something doesn't provide you as much value as you once thought it did, or somebody was maneuvering in a way that wasn't of benefit to you. And by asserting these boundaries, you realize that, and perhaps they no longer are, you no longer see them as part of your foundation. But you're open to the fact that there's something else out there for you that might fit a little better. 10 of Pentacles and the Star. Yeah, so we're definitely thinking of what we want, Gemini. On an emotional level, what fulfills us, right? What we can feel content with in the long term. And with that 10 of Pentacles showing up here, of course it speaks on an ending, but there's some sort of success that comes with that, right? I'm picturing here, or I'm focusing just on these two, these lovers, right? The man and the woman here pictured, and the life that they have created. There's some sort of fulfillment here. So it feels like we're giving an end to something that really wasn't of benefit in the way that we thought it would be, because we understand that there's more meant for us. And Gemini, it feels like you're seeing that. It feels like you're realizing that there's more than you were settling for perhaps a little bit less, and perhaps for you, 2026, you've realized I'm going to live life to the fullest and shoot for the stars, right? Literally. And you're doing that. And you're clearing out some people that may not have been out to get you, but definitely weren't of benefit to you with that Seven of Swords. So you're cleaning house in a very positive way here, and that's lovely to see. Gemini, awesome. You're setting your boundaries, you're doing your thing, you're containing your circle, and that's beautiful. You're finding your people, and that's great. I love this for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. You take care. Cancer, hello. Let's go ahead and jump right in to see what we can see. That kind of flew out there, didn't it? It was like, ooh, and then it kind of got a little bit more hesitant. That was funny. So we have the Five of Wands showing up here and the Two of Wands in the shadow here. So it does feel like we're thinking long-term and trying to make a decision based on our long-term stability, security, right? And that feels like a priority for you, Cancer, this week. With that Wheel of Fortune popping through, I'm wondering if we're trying to close a loop, or at least the universe is trying to close a loop on your behalf as it relates to how you participate in society with certain people, how you interact, right? The dynamics of that interaction. Interesting. Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers here. Ooh. Okay. I'm just going to take a look in your shadow here. There's that Emperor energy. Okay. Yeah, so this idea here in your shadow with the Queen of Cups, the Emperor, the Eight of Pentacles, the King of Swords, Ten of Swords, Justice, and Ten of Pentacles, there's an understanding, at least internally, when you're having honest conversations with yourself, that's something we need to work to put something to bed. Like, we need to finish off some sort of cycle here. And Cancer, it feels like this is one of those cycles that keeps on repeating for you. And I'm wondering if 2026 is the year that you're putting intention to, we need to close this cycle and be done with it once and for all. Okay. Heading into your clarifiers, we do have that Nine of Swords in the reverse, which I love. Ace of Pentacles, love. Page of Pentacles, we're picking up that opportunity and seizing it. That's great. Nine of Pentacles here. Now, the World in reverse, interesting presentation, okay? Queen of Wands, and rounding out your clarifiers, we have the Eight of Cups. This first half here feels great. You're not letting any doubt, any fear, insecurity, any lingering notions of a stubborn mindset hold you back from taking on an opportunity that the universe has presented to you and really doing your best to capitalize and maximize that opportunity and make the most of it for yourself, Cancer. I love that. It's fantastic. With this World here, it feels a little bit like the hesitancy to let go of this pattern, this loop that we've been trying to close out. There's a resistance there for sure, right? Even with the Seven of Wands, if we go further in your shadow on this side here. And then we go from the to the Queen of Wands to the Eight of Cups here. So definitely with the Magician and the Emperor energy here, you're taking charge, taking control, manifesting the most for this Ace of Pentacles opportunity that the universe is presenting on your path here. And that feels really good. Cancer, it feels like we take that opportunity and maximize it as much as we possibly can until we get to a place that it no longer feels comfortable, a place of change that no longer feels comfortable, that we, for whatever reason, renounce that ending. And then again, being very deliberate, intentional, focused on moving away again. So it's very interesting. Like your hesitation is here, and it perhaps for you it doesn't feel like hesitation. Perhaps for you it feels more out of your hands in a way, out of your control in some sort of aspect. And it feels like because we haven't quite uncovered a piece of the puzzle as it relates to what you're showing me on the board here. With that Five of Wands, perhaps you're being more, I don't want to say assertive, Cancer, but your focus is a little bit shifted, it feels, as you relate to other people, as you're showing up to other people. You're a little bit more goal oriented in a way, or at least focused on this goal until you're not and then you are again. So it could be that you're trying to change how you are society facing and really trying to take ownership of that new aspect of yourself until you're not, and then you revert a little bit and then you try again. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here for you. Okay. Yeah. How you're showing up around your people. Ten of Wands, Eight of Swords. So yes, again, we come back to this idea of an ending. And then Eight of Swords, what's stopping us from putting this behind us, right? So you're showing up very deliberate and very intentional, but it does still feel like we're looping through. And I'm wondering, Cancer, it feels like you're aware of this and you're really trying to break through. So kudos to you for, first of all, presenting this in the first place. It feels very it feels very much like a core of your work in this lifetime of letting whatever this loop is go. So kudos to you for working on it and working towards it, right? And the biggest bonds and the biggest ties that we break are, this could be a karmic loop for you, right? It could be generational as well. But you're working towards it, right? And you're very much fighting through it, which is a beautiful thing to see, that you're taking this on and really trying to do the best for yourself. So very commendable here, Cancer. You're showing up and it's great. And I wish you all the best on this journey. I look forward to seeing how this unveils itself further for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you always, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Scorpio, hello. Let's get right into it and see what we can see for the week of January 12th, please. All right. So we've got double fours here. 4 of Wands, 4 of Cups. Let me just pull out this handy guy. Let me just see. 2 4s. Insomnia. All right. So could be an issue for you, right? Take it as it resonates here. But with that 4 of Wands, we're speaking on our foundations, right? Our pillars, perhaps even for some of you, our core values, what motivates us, what is our driver. 4 of Cups here, the Devil. Interesting. So Scorpio, I'm wondering if there's some sort of hesitancy to interact with something that doesn't serve you or is trying to some sort of situation, dynamic, or person doesn't have your best interest at heart here, and it feels like you're trying to maneuver away from that this week, or not give it any, not add any fuel to the fire kind of vibe here. I'm wondering if you're not trying to give it any attention, right? So that it doesn't become a bigger thing. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see. I had a feeling that Devil was going to make it out on the board here. I was just waiting. I'm like, okay, is he coming? Is he not? What's going on here? But here he is. All right, I'm just going to take a look at your shadow. Yeah, it feels like this is a struggle for you, Scorpio. It's a struggle to see through it, see past it, maneuver through it even. It just feels like your steps feel heavy, like you're in mud a little bit and really trying to, like, there's a lot of energy that's put forth in moving forward. Coming into your clarifiers here, you have the King of Cups, the 2 of Swords, Temperance, the Fool, 7 of Wands in the reverse, Devil, Chariot, and the 5 of Wands here. So I get this idea that you are trying to be intentional and only focus on what matters to you, only focus on your priorities, your values, your goals, what drives you, right? As I said on the outset here, a little bit of hesitation. And it feels like hesitation to pull the trigger on something. But again, that's really not stopping you. It could even be fear or doubt, right? A little bit of doubt peeking out, which wouldn't be all that surprising for you, Scorpio. But it's not stopping you from embracing this Fool energy. And perhaps it's a little bit of a residual twinge from a past karmic cycle that's popping up, but you're not allowing it to gain any momentum here. So really trying your best, right, to move on and move forward here from a place of balance and harmony, which is really, really lovely and very commendable, right? And again, it makes sense that it's deliberate, it's heavy, because we're so focused on that forward momentum and being very conscious of different things that might pop up as we're moving through this new space and navigating this balance, right? Coming over here with that Seven of Wands in the reverse, to the Devil, to the Chariot, to the Five of Wands. Seven of Wands in reverse, it feels like you're not closing yourself off to this energy that might not be the best energy for you, might not be the best person, best dynamic, best thing, right? You're not closing your energy off to it. You're seeing it. You're not blocking it. You're very aware of its presence. In some social setting. You see it for what it is. It's almost like the blindfold is off, right? You see it for what it is. And it feels like you're not trying to let this person, thing, setting, whatever, this devil energy dictate how you show up. Yeah. You're really trying to give focus and attention to what matters. And saying, I see you. I see what you're trying to do. I see you for who you are. And you're not gonna incite anything in me. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing and moving forward in a way that I direct myself. Right? And with this Magician energy and the Emperor energy here, intentional, right? You're manifesting some kind of breaking off point. I wouldn't say some sort of loop closure, because it feels like that loop is already closed. I'm wondering if it could even be that you're proving to yourself that this loop, this past karmic loop, has really closed off. And so you don't need to block this because it doesn't hold any power anymore. Wow. That's awesome, Scorpio. Ooh. Queen of Swords. Yeah, justice. You made some decisions, karmic justice, right? This idea of perhaps for a lot of you finally putting this karmic loop to bed, or at least seeing it for what it is and moving truly beyond that, and understanding with that Queen of Swords that whatever this energy is no longer has a hold on you. Love that. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Scorpio. Amazing. Amazing. You're finding your footing here, and it feels like you're truly moving into a space where you're becoming unstoppable, and it's beautiful to see. You're giving me goosebumps. That's what I have for you. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you today and always. Best of luck in this week ahead. I can't wait to see what next week has in store. We'll see you next time. You take care. Pisces, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for the week of January 12th. Love that. The moon, you are top of mind for this week as we head into the week of the 12th. Is this going to be the third week of January already? Time is flying. Okay, so this feels like some acknowledgement here of, yes, it hurts, but I will continue on and I will do what I need to do for myself, to look out for myself, to keep boundaries for myself, to keep me in check and to keep others in check as well. That's really what I'm seeing for you. Perhaps even for some of you as well, a change in priorities this week, or a full integration of moving forward, which is really quite beautiful. You are your own priority this week, Pisces, and that is fantastic. I love that. Let's get some clarifiers. Yep, consistency. Closing the loop on something here. Oh, I love this. I'm getting goosebumps. All right, I'm just going to take a look in that shadow. I'm like, happy to see that King of Pentacles for you. I feel like for the Pisces I read for, it's always showing up. We're always thinking long term. Not so happy to see that Devil, but we'll see kind of what we can see here. I'm just going to pop into the shadow. There you are. So yes, this shadow and this shadow tell exactly the same story, with the Six of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, the Moon, the Star, and that Ace of Pentacles here. You are very much your priority as we head into this week, and hopefully beyond as well. You're doing some work for yourself, perhaps even that it could be working on yourself, right? And trying to make the most of where you are, where you're headed, and what you want out of this lifetime. So very beautiful energy here showing up for you. I love that. Love that, love that, love that for you. Heading into your clarifiers, Pisces, we have the Chariot, Five of Wands, the World, King of Pentacles, Six of Wands, Three of Cups, and that Devil energy, of course. And you know what? That's interesting, right? We have the Chariot and we have the Devil. So this is Cancer and Capricorn energy, which are sign opposites. They have a lot in common, but the thing that's coming to mind here, Spirit is saying we're stubborn, right? We're stubborn. And it could even be that stubborn mindset of really putting in that effort to put yourself first and move forward in a way that is truly intentional and truly about holding yourself accountable, holding others accountable in all these different aspects, in a way that sets you up for the success you want now and in the future, right? So again, this idea of we're thinking long term and maneuvering in that way, Pisces. So truly, it's like 2026, new Pisces, new intentions, and really focusing on that. And it's lovely to see. And not only are you doing this work, doing this challenging work, you're trying to find the joy in life, in the little moments, being present and making sure that you're being intentional about focusing on what's important to you and giving that to yourself. Beautiful, beautiful. For some of you, you could even be closing out some sort of dynamic here. So putting an end to putting an end to perhaps a relationship, putting an end to a hobby or a group that you were showing up in and saying this no longer works for me. In some aspect, you're closing out one part or even of how you interact. Maybe it could be overgiving or oversharing. Whatever it is, you're very conscious about closing that loop so that we can move forward and live a life that we're happy with, right? And that we're proud of. With that devil energy kind of rounding us out there, it does feel again like we're being stubborn. We're being very intentional. We're hard at work doing this. I also have to say there's a little bit of an acknowledgement of how far we can take things or how perhaps off track we've gotten in the past. So we have to bring that devil energy to the light a little bit and wrap him in our arms a little bit and give him a little bit of tenderness, because it feels like whatever aspect that devil represents for you, part of that energy was from you, Pisces, not giving yourself what you knew you needed. And so just I'm kind of picturing you giving yourself a hug, right? And embracing all aspects of you here. That's the kind of visual representation that I see for you this week. And it's really quite lovely, right? Very beautiful, very moving. Just very intentional. And Pisces, just lovely, lovely energy for you as we head into this week. Ooh, the star. Yep. And the magician, double magician. Fantastic. Just so intentional, right? And you're signaling as well to the universe that where you're going and the groundwork that you're laying is what you want, right? And so when we signal to the universe in the way that you're doing, you're allowing the universe to come in and give you what you're looking for, what you're seeking, right? And with that star showing up, we are focused on, you know, what we want, where we're headed, where we're going, right? Oh, that's beautiful. It feels like you're realizing some sort of potential here, and it's beautiful to see. I'm blown away. I love this. I can't wait to read for you for next week to see how this all continues to unfold for you. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm so happy for you, Pisces. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're shining. It's fantastic. We'll see you next time, and you take care.